Let's start with how I work. First thing I'm going to do is come in and do a traditional valuation. Then I'm going to do a transactional valuation. Transactional valuation is looking at market activity and comparable transactions, etc. Our interest is to sort of kind of develop a range of valuations. It's got a low end, but when working with us, there is no high end, okay? Ideally, we want to take you in the market and let the market decide the price. A second part of a good advisor is if they can drive up your valuation multiple. So there's two parts to that. First is you've got to be really good at selling the invisible. They're looking at your historical cash flow, but they're buying the promise of tomorrow. So a part of our job is to do an operations plan that really spells out your operation strategy and your business model and how you are going to continue to execute to sustain and grow your top line revenue, sustain your gross margins and your profits. And also combining that with the type of buyer we're working with, especially if it's a strategic buyer, or what we want to do is to get them to share some of their synergies that they will realize. And buyers are resistant, by the way, to sharing these types of synergies. They almost feel like this is an invasion. But a good advisor, ideally, in an ideal situation, get the buyer to share some synergies and drive up the purchase price. The next thing we're doing is something that starts long before we ever take you in the market. As a part of this process, we're looking at your tax implications, because the tax implications are mission critical. Depending on where you live, you could pay up close to 70% on the taxes of a C Corp in an asset sale. So the next element is making sure that you are familiar with all your exit options. And an external sale may not be the best thing for you. Maybe you are a candidate for an employee stock ownership plan or an installment sale to a partner, etc. So part of it is doing an exit options analysis and really understanding how do we maximize your personal, family, financial, and business goals. And then comes the real art, which is preparing the sales materials and staging the transaction and negotiating with various buyers. And it's not just about the purchase price alone. To me, once you look at the components tied to the purchase price, you look under the hood, terms are just as important. In some cases, it's better to take a lower purchase price with better terms than a higher purchase price with really onerous terms. By the time a proper letter of intent is executed, now comes the real part of a good advisor, is to actually sustain the purchase price, because I'll tell you this, once you sign the letter of intent, you lose 100% of your leverage, okay? Only thing that can happen, the only thing, is your purchase price can go down. The key is to help you sustain the purchase price by giving pushback to the buyer and also being proactive early on, understanding what the problems are. We prepare our clients up front so we can minimize surprises to the best extent possible, okay? And my message to you today is, whether you're working with someone like me or another M&A advisor, really talk to them and ask them about their process, because it could really make a huge difference in how much money you take home. And this matters not whether you are selling your business to third parties. You could be doing an internal transition, and it's about maximizing the value of your business and minimizing the tax bite. Rare Brain Capital helps companies improve performance and sell for maximum value. How ready is your company to grow or to sell? Want to know how you're doing? Get your free score plus customized report in just a few minutes at no cost or obligation. Visit rarebrain.com/score.